Welcome to Mr. Brandt's 5th grade everyday math review. In this video we're going to be reviewing lesson 3.3, which is dealing with interpreting remainders or deciding what to do with the remainder once you get one. And our first example problem is going to be dealing with the raging river, which is a pretty cool ride if you ask me. The raging river at Adventureland closed so no one else could get in line. There were 40 people that still needed to get on the ride. If 6 people can ride the raging river at a time, how many more trips would need to be taken? So the first thing we need to figure out is how much is being shared and what is being shared. So in this problem we have 40 people, and then we have the 6 people that can ride at a time. So what is being shared or what is being divided up is it's the 40 people, and they're going to be divided into groups of 6, because we know that 6 people can ride each one at a time, and this doesn't necessarily fit with this question the best, but this is 6. So on your home link it asks you to start with a number model. And we know that the amount being shared is the same as the dividend. So that's going to be, our dividend is 40. And that is going to be divided by the 6 people that can ride in each raft. And then we have to figure out the answer, and they've also asked you to include a variable, or excuse me, a letter. A variable is a fancy name for a letter in a math problem. And so the question is how many more trips would need to be taken. So we're going to go with the letter T. So 40 divided by 6 equals T. You can use any letter. It doesn't really matter. And so now let's figure that out. One way we can do that is doing the division problem, and I'm going to start with that one. So we're going to go 40 divided by 6. 40 divided by 6. I can't get any groups of 6 from 4. I can get 6 from 40. So 6 times 6 is 36. And I subtract and I get 4. 4 is less than 6. There's nothing else to bring down, so I have 6 remainder 4. Now on your home link it's going to ask for the answer. How many of whatever are they going to need? So how many trips are they going to need? Well, we know for sure there's 6. And then there's a remainder of 4. Now, can you have a remainder 4 of rides? You cannot have remainder 4 rides. So for this one, what we need to do is we need to round this remainder up, and we're going to have to have 7 rides or 7 trips. So we start with the number model. We figured out our answer. We determined that we needed to round the quotient up to 7, and we needed to do that because everybody needed to have a ride. If you would like, you could also draw a picture for this. So if you've ever been to Adventureland, the rafts are circular. So I'm going to make more than I need here. But we started with 40. And so we have 6 people on this one. Then we could put 6 on this one, which would get us to 12. We could put 6 on this one, which would get us to 18. 6 more would get us to 24. 6 more would get us to 30, plus 6, that brings us to 36. Now, if we did 6 more, that'd be 42. So that can't be right. For this last one, there's going to be 4 people on it, which gives us to 40. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rafts. So either way you can do it. You can do it with the algorithm division problem. You can do it with the picture. And let's move on to the next problem. Our second problem states, a baseball team had 73 ounces of ice-cold Gatorade to share in a super hot summer day. If there were 10 players on the team, how many ounces should each player receive? So we'll come over to our questions. The first thing we need to determine is how much is being shared. And we know that there's 73 ounces that are being shared, 73 ounces. And then how many items or people are sharing. And we know that 10 players are going to be sharing that. So 10 players. The amount being shared is our dividend. Then the number of people sharing, or the items that are sharing, is our divisor. So it's going to be 73 divided by 10. And I'm going to go with a G for Gatorade. So 73 divided by 10 equals G. How many ounces should each player receive of Gatorade? O is not the greatest letter to use because it can look like a 0. That's why I chose to go with a G. So let's go ahead and do our problem. We have 73 divided by 10. So I can't get any groups of 10 from 7, but I can get 7 from 73. 7 times 10 is 70. I subtract and I get 3. My 3 is less than 10. There's nothing else to bring down, so I have a remainder of 3. Now, how many ounces should each player receive? In this case, what are we going to do with the remainder? Well, with the quotient, we can't round it up because we can't magically get more Gatorade. For the Gatorade that's left over, I don't think the players are going to want to ignore it. They're probably thirsty, so they probably want to use every ounce that they can. So what we need to do with this one is report it as a fraction. So our number right here becomes the whole number. Okay? Then our remainder, I'm going to choose a different color for this one. Our remainder is going to be written as the numerator, and the divisor is always going to be the denominator. So how many ounces of Gatorade should each player receive? They should receive 7 3/10 ounces. So again, we started with our number model with a letter. We figured out the answer. We determined that it needed to be reported as a fraction. And so that's how we would go about doing these problems. For the practice on the home link, it's dealing with the order of operations. And I know this video is starting to get on the long side, so I'm going to try to get through these fairly quickly. But remember, we start with parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, and then addition or subtraction. And we always go from left to right. So all these are going from left to right. So our first problem here not only has parentheses, it also has braces and brackets. So here we start with what's in our braces. And within our braces, we have to move on to our brackets. And then within our brackets, the first thing we have to do is the parentheses. So I'm going to start with 10 divided by 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I'm done with that. And you don't have to do it this way, but I always like to bring down the rest of my problem as I'm working here. Just helps me keep things organized. I'm going to switch colors here. So now I have to do my brackets next, and that's 8 subtract 5, which is 3. So I'm done with that section. So now I bring down my braces. For this step, I have to do what's inside the braces before I do anything else. So 3 times 6 is 18. So I'll bring down my plus 4, and then that brings me to the end of the problem. So 18 plus 4 is 22. Okay, moving on to the second problem. So I have 2 sets of parentheses on this one. And since I have 2 sets of parentheses, I'm going to do those both at the same time. I'm going to do them in the same step. So I have 10 subtract 2. 10 subtract 2 is 8. Done with that one. And I'm also going to do 1 plus 3, which is 4. I'm done with that. So then all I have to do is bring down my division symbol. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So it's very important that you follow those order of operations, because if you just go in whatever order you go in, you'll get some different answers. It does matter the order that you use. Thanks for sticking with me through this little bit longer video today, and hope you have a great rest of your day.